Lots of users want to know how to reverse the values of a rating scale, such as an agreement scale or a satisfaction scale, so that the highest value becomes the lowest value, and conversely the lowest value becomes the highest value. And it turns out there's more than one method we can use to do this. The first method we'll look at is using the transform compute procedure, and the second method is using the recode procedure. So here we have a data set that contains a number of fields that are rating scales, and you can see that the rating scales already have labels attached to them, which is shown here. If we want to look in detail at how the scale works, we can go to the variable view and click on the value cell, call up the dialog, and we can see here that 0 indicates that the person said don't know in answer to the question. 1 indicates they said excellent, 2 good, 3 poor, 4 very poor. If we assume that we want to reverse the scale so that 1 becomes 4 and 4 becomes 1, we can use the compute procedure to help us do that. However, we need to bear in mind that 0 has been defined as a user missing value along with a value 9, and that's a consideration. If we do a quick descriptive statistics on this particular field here that we're highlighting, you can see that there's 1 case that's been coded as missing, don't know, and 7 cases that have been coded with 9, and they're missing as well. We don't really know why they're missing, but they haven't had a response or a valid response. So one method we can use is just go to the transform compute variable procedure, and you can overwrite the existing variable, but it probably makes sense for me to create a new version of this first variable here, value for money. I'll call it value for money 2. And one method I could do is just take the scale away from a number. So I can say, okay, let's just subtract the scale from the value 5, which means, of course, that the value of 1, which is excellent, now has the value of 4, and the value of 4, which was very poor, now has the value of 1. And we click OK at that point. It will create a new field for us at the end. Here's value for money. You can see it here at the end. It's got new scores in it. If we right click on it and do descriptive statistics, we can see it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's happened is that these two values of 0 and 9, because they were defined as missing, the compute command has ignored them and hasn't tried to compute a result for them, and has made them system missing values. That means they're represented with a period or a full stop symbol. Now, if you're happy with that, you can still double click, of course, on the value for money 2 variable, and you can change the number of decimal places and give it the same label as before. So you can just copy and paste that down. And you need to give it some values. You can't use the old value labels. So now 1 is very poor. 2 is, of course, poor. 3 is good. And 4 is excellent. You can add that in, click OK. Rerun the descriptive statistics. And now we've got this newly created value for money variable with the scale reversed. There is another method we can use, and we might use this method actually as a way to overwrite the existing fields and reverse the scale on them directly all at the same time. If you needed to use the compute procedure on multiple fields at the same time, probably the best thing to do is hit paste, which will show you the underlying command that's running here. You can see it does compute value for money. You could just use the same formula over and over again for the different variables. But if we're going to use the recode procedure as an alternative, then we can go to the transform, and if I'm going to overwrite the existing fields, I can use recode in the same variables to do so. So let's do that. Click on recode in the same variables, and now we're going to highlight all of these variables. We're going to send them across. We click in old and new values, and now we make category 4 1, category 3 becomes 2, category 2 becomes 3, and category 1 becomes 4. And as regards category 0, well, you can say 0 stays as 0 if you wanted, and category 9 stays as 9. In fact, you could actually click all other values, just copy them across the system, missing, give them the same values, but here we're keeping them separate. Click continue at that point and click OK. It's reversed the scale. The only thing we need to bear in mind now, of course, is that the value labels no longer match the scale, so we need to go to the value cell here. This is fine, but this is now actually very poor. Change that. This is now actually poor. Change that. This is good. Change that. And this, of course, is now excellent, which we change. And having done that, you should be able to copy it and paste it down to all of the fields that we've just overwritten. And if we go back and now run this procedure again, Descriptive Statistics, it's reversed the procedure, it's reversed the scaling for us, so that the underlying numbers are now going in the opposite direction, but the value labels still correspond to the correct values.